What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I am Craig, and we're going to go over the charts. Are we going to have a market meltdown? We're going to take a look at that, or are we going to get a bounce up? And where could it go to? We're going to take a look at all the scenarios. Definitely stick around for the whole video. We will get into the smaller time frames on Bitcoin at the end of the video and kind of look at what's going on in the near future. But before we begin, make sure you guys scroll down, smash that thumbs up. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you think of the video. Also, share the video if you would. Get it out there if you belong to any groups or whatever. Make sure you give the video a share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you want daily updates. Remember, today is Wednesday. This afternoon, we will be doing a members live video. So if you are a member, I'll see you then. Let's get into it. So looking at the Dow Jones, as you guys know, I pointed out this on the RSI. We did tag the top of this again. Now, if we are able to get above this and close a daily with the RSI above this trend line, then we may see that rally. But it is looking for more downside, in my opinion. As I showed you guys, the lower highs in the price action, the higher highs in the RSI was hidden bearish divergence. Could that have been played out with this little dip? Possibly, but I don't think so. We're also getting rejected on the center of this downward sloping channel right there at the center. So we've been talking about this for a while. I actually put this up last week with this arrow in here showing the downside. And these are my targets for the Dow if we do continue to the downside. But if we do break up and break this high here, we could get one more push up, which would be one more push up for Bitcoin. But if we stay rejected here, we continue down, back down to test this trend line. That could be between the $25,000 and $26,000 range right here is my target for the Dow. As you guys know, when we broke here, we made the target of 30,700, which did hit, got a bounce off that, and I think we continue down from here. Now let's look at the DXY. The DXY is looking bullish, guys. This is the 4-hour. It's looking pretty damn bullish. Looks like we get at least one more rise up, which would mean another dip down in Bitcoin. Again, if we come back down and break this 106 area anytime, we could be headed towards this 105. This is major support here for me if it even gets down here. That's where you would see the dollar head if Bitcoin gets one more push to the upside. But it is looking like the FOMC meeting being today, I think it's at 2 p.m. Look for some volatility in between those times. We may get, some little rallies, little dips, but I think by what the markets are showing, as you guys know on this channel, we keep an eye on all the markets. We'll take a quick look at gold and silver here too, but we keep an eye on all the markets and kind of see what it's telling us. As you guys know, I don't really care for the news and all the hype and all that stuff. The charts, everything's pretty much burnt in the charts. It'll give you a great perspective of what's going on and where stuff is headed if you learn to read the charts. You have to put in the time and the work. If you guys just want call signals, that's lazy and you will end up losing all your money. What I do on this channel is go through the markets, show you what I see and why I see it, and hopefully you learn from that. So let's take a look at what's going on. Like I said, dollar looks really ready to blast off here, which would mean a dip for everything else. And if you look at gold, this chart is a year old. My target's still 1561 area for gold. Gold looks like it's ready to take a pretty big dip today. Not necessarily today, but I mean, it is definitely on the verge of some serious downside. Maybe come back and test these lows at 1679. Silver, same thing. It looks like it's ready to... This chart also a year old. We've been looking for this 1550 range, possibly much lower. But what I do want to look at here is it does look like it's ready to break down from this support area. Looks like it could happen at any time here. So watch for that. If it does break this 1830 area, look for us to go down to around the 17.5 or so. All right, Bitcoin, as you guys know, this is the monthly chart. And I told you if we close the monthly below this monthly trend line here, which it does look like, let me get that up a little better. It does look like we are going to be closing below that. So be very careful. The monthly resistance is 24.5. and we take a look at the weekly. Let's look at the week. So as the weekly, you guys know these measured moves are measuring out all to be the same. So this was a rising channel. Our measured move off that got us down from the break of the channel right to our target at 25.5. And then we created another bear flag. We used that same flagpole from the break, bring it down, got us our exact target at the 17.5, 17.7 area. And then if we break down from here, the next, if this plays out the same as these, gets us down to about the 72 to 7,500 range. But we do have other targets there. And remember, guys, this is on the weekly, so this could take time. So if we take a measured move of that channel, that gets us down to about the 15.5 range. And if we look at it, see this top trend line as a rising broadening wedge. And if we were to break down sometime this week or next week, will get us down to around that 14.2. So, but before then, we're going to go into the 4 hour and look at the smaller time frames and look at where these bounce areas could be, because there could be a lot more action here. As you know, this is the weekly. This takes a lot of time to play out. Now, this is the .com comparison here. This is Amazon on the left, Bitcoin on the right. Seems to be playing out beautifully. As you guys know, I made this chart on December 2nd of 2021. People called me crazy. I made it right up in here when Bitcoin was right around that 59 to 57,000 range, and everyone called me crazy. Look at where we are now. One of the things I want to point out, I hope you guys can see this. This is the RSI on the weekly, and as you can see, I've talked about the false bottoms. Once we broke this trend line, that was right here, we had that last fake rally. You can also look at the market cheat sheet, and it'll show you there's always the false bottom, and then we have a push up to come down to the real bottom. If you notice here, we broke that trend line, and then when we came back down to retest it, that was the true bottom. I think we're going to see the same thing here. I kind of drew that in right here so you guys can see. But once we break this, everyone's going to get extremely bullish again. And I believe that'll be sometime toward the end of this year, maybe into 2023. We're going to get one last pump and then down to our final bottom right in this area. So be aware of that. Be careful. I could be wrong here, but this is playing out beautifully. I also showed you on the Sony and Nintendo charts. You can go to my YouTube channel, and there is there's a video in there I did, I think it was last week, could have been the week before, of how bubbles pop. Definitely check that out. You're going to see some interesting stuff in that. Let's take a look at the daily. So the daily, I kind of drew this in. This is what I'm looking for here. Could see something like this. And this is not exact time, guys, but if this was to happen, would be towards the end of this year when we hit that 75. And remember, everybody thinks Bitcoin's on a 4-year cycle, and that would put the bottom at the end of this year, right? That would be a perfect place for a false bottom. So everybody will get really bullish, buy here, which if you wanted to put in longs down in this area, probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And then just trail them with stop losses. Once it gets stopped out, you know, you might look for a short sometime in 2023 to come down for that final low. That's what I believe is going to happen. Obviously, there's no guarantees and nobody has a crystal ball, but so far, so good. We've been calling this whole thing since we called the top over here. We called this top about a month ahead of time, and it hit perfectly at 64,000. And then we had our 5 waves down. These were also measured out, although I thought the 5th wave was going to go down further. But then I said to look for ABC. That would get everybody bullish and screaming 100K again, which is exactly what we got. And then I had showed you the Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart of what to expect next, which seems to be playing out absolutely to the T. If you guys are interested in trading before we go into the smaller time frames, definitely check out PrimeXBT. Links down below. And if you use my link and promo code SAVVY50, you get up to $7,500 bonus. Savvy25 will get you 25% off of your trading fees. Definitely check them out if you haven't. You can also trade in the contest section totally for free, so you can get a strategy, test out the exchange, and really get to know it before you actually put in funds if you are interested in trading. So let's take a look at this chart. This is the 4 hour, and I told you guys about this fractal here. We peaked up, got a bull trap just above this channel, and then continuation to the downside. And as you can see, that's what happened here, although the trap was a lot higher. But let's take a look at what happened here. Once we broke down, we came up and retested this center of this rising channel and got a major rejection to the downside. One more thing I want to point out in this before we go on to our other charts is we had our 4-hour sell signal over here. Now, usually after the sell signal, you get a little rally up. But what happens if we rally up to test the center of this channel like we did last time before coming down? How high could that get us? Up to that 21.6 to 21.7 range. If we get up there, I would expect a rejection. That's also the 21 EMA. But then we had the 55 EMA around 21.9. So that is another possibility. So if we get up into these ranges, the 21.6 to 21.7, I would look for a rejection. If it's able to pull through there, get support, then I'd look for the 21.9 to 22,000 area for the rejection. But so far, so good. Everything looks to be playing out beautifully. Let's take a look at the 4-hour right here. So at any time, if we break this 24.3 high, that was my target for a very long time. We actually made that target when we broke down over here, and that was on the weekly. Let me see, go back to the daily. Actually, the daily, we had this target here. That was the break of this rising broadening wedge, and I had said if we broke that, that was our target, and I called that back here in November of 21. We hit that 24.3, and I'd said if we broke below that would become major resistance, and that's exactly what has happened. Now, if we break above this 24.3, then we could go up and test that, 32,000 range, possibly. I don't really think we're going to get that high unless we get a crazy spike up, but if we do that, it will be a major rejection and back to the downside. Either way, I think we see these lower lows. Let's go back into this chart here. All right, so this is the chart we've been watching now. It does seem to be looking like it's forming yet another bear flag. I have the fibs drawn in here from this low to this high, and then our retracement levels. We did get a bounce off the 0.5 here, dipped a little below and above. And if you look, the 0.382 would be resistance again, which lines up with the center of that channel. That's also around that 21,650 range, somewhere in there. These targets aren't exact to the dollar, guys. But anyways, we did break down past this 4-hour RSI here, and I told you if we got rejected there, we'd continue down from there. We did get a push up, but if you look at what's going on here, we are creating higher highs in the RSI, lower highs in the price action. That is hidden bearish divergence, most likely a continuation of the trend. Now, where would we look for a major dump? Well, you can see I have the RSIs here. If this takes some time to get down to the next time we break this 20,950 range, our next stop's going to be around that 20,000 to 20,150 range, would be over here. Now, that's if it takes another week or so to get there. But if we come straight down to test this trend line, and I'm sure we'll get at least a bounce off this trend line, guys, would be around 19.7 or 19.6. Now, what happened last time? Once we hit that, we got a bounce up, and then ultimately came down to break. So we may see something like this, like we seen last time. It came down, came back up, tested the 200 EMA, which is around 22,000, and then came back down, straddled on a line a little bit before it broke. But once this breaks, our targets, once this trend line breaks, depending on if, when, and where. So our first target is obviously going to be our old low at 17.5. A break of the 17.5, then I look for around 15.7 to 15.8. Maybe even, whoops, let me put that back. Move this up a little bit since we haven't broke yet. So this will be our next target. Yeah, right around that 15.7 range. So we do get down to there, expect a bounce, maybe come back up and test that 17.5, play around in here for a little while before coming down to our next bear flag target, which would be somewhere in that $7,500 to $8,000 range. We've been talking about this for a very long time, guys. This is still what I'm looking for. Now, talking about that, this is a possible rising broadening wedge. We had this drawn in there last week. Just a simple Elliott wave, 5-wave wedge. We've almost played this out perfectly. You can go back and check my videos. We've been watching this for about a week also. But that would get us down to these levels here of that 19.7, 19.8 range. Like I said, expect a bounce. If it does break down, then we look for our lower targets, guys. All right, thanks again for watching. Don't forget, smash those thumbs up. It really does help the channel out. We're almost to 50,000 subs. Let's see if we can get there in the very near future. Leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate each and every one of you. You can also give me a follow on Twitter. It's at CryptoSavvy1. Link is down below in the description with my other affiliate links. All the links down there are my trusted links, so definitely check them out if you haven't already, and I'm out.